Hey, and welcome to our e-collar video. Did this video just to give you a general rundown, general understanding how the e-collar is set up, how all the buttons work, how all the knobs work, all of that stuff. So be sure you watch this more than once. Keep the link somewhere where you can get to it. Save it to your file, save it to a phone, save it to a note, whatever you need to do to be able to get to it, to look at again. As you go through this training, you will find the e-collar is going to be super helpful. It is a communication tool. It's a tool that we use to, communicate with the dogs. In addition to the leash, it's layered over the leash, so it means the same thing. Now, as you progress through training, you will just naturally start to get away from the e-collar. The dog will start doing better. You'll get away from the e-collar. You'll put it in a drawer, and then suddenly you'll realize the dog's not doing so well. You'll get it out. You put it on the dog, and the cycle repeats. The key to all of this is being sure you do it consistently, especially in the beginning. First few weeks goes on the dog every day. If you only put it on the dog when the dog is bad, then you have a collar-wise dog. So when the collar is on the dog is doing really good. When the collar is off, the dog is really bad. It's the consistency. We want this dog to look at it no differently than its regular collar, its everyday flat collar that you have on the dog, and forget about it. And that way you start to change the dog's behavior. So hope you like this video. If you have any questions, just let us know. We'll be happy to answer them for you. Today we're going to do an unboxing of the Ecollar Mini Educator. This is the collar we use for training. This is the ET300. It is good for a half a mile radius, so that's how far out it will go. It's also waterproof. I'm going to go through it real quick, kind of tell you how everything works, and tell you what you get in the box. All right, so you open the box here, you have a couple of things. You have the remote collar, the receiver, you have a charger, you have a lanyard, you have some extra parts, we'll talk about those. And then under here is where you're going to find a little card for your registration and that good stuff. So we are going to start with the remote. All right, so the Ecollar Mini Educator is probably the leading collar in the industry. A couple reasons I like it. One, you can just hold it in your hand, right? You have complete freedom to use your other hand. You can control all the buttons with one hand. To turn this on the back there is a round button that says L, right? So you hold that button down and then just watch the front. When that light comes on, it's on. All right. Now we'll go over the buttons, all the buttons in just a second. Let's show you how to turn the receiver on. So this will be considered the receiver. This is what goes on the dog. All right. Has a biotin collar, very durable. You can get them in all different colors. And so to turn the collar on, the receiver on, all you're going to do is, there's a red dot on here, there's a red dot on the receiver, and you're just going to touch them together. You'll see that green light comes on. I'll do it again. Red means it's off, green means it's on. So now you'll see if I put this remote on a level and tap it, you will see that it's getting signal. You see that red light blinking? Let me know it's getting signal. So let's go over the remote and then we'll go back to the collar itself. So with the remote, it's pretty simple. This knob on the top is used to adjust the level. And you can see as I turn it, that level goes up and down. Starts at 0, goes to 100. This is the antenna. This is what gives it reception. Now sometimes because these stick out and they're kind of just out there to break, these will break off. If they do, you can just contact Ecollar and they'll send you another one. You can purchase another one. All right, let's talk about the buttons. This button that has a T on it right here is for vibrate. We don't use that a whole lot. Kind of freaks out the dogs. You listen. The dogs just think they have something on them. We may use it for interrupting some like barking in the kennel or something like that. For the most part, we don't use it. You can change this button to a tone recall. To change this T button from vibrate to tone, you're going to depress the L button in the back. Make sure this is turned to 0. You're going to depress the L button in the back and then tap this button. So now, if I put it on a level and I hold this, now it Now the collar tones. Now the significance of that is, like, say I have it on level 4 and I'm working on a tone recall. I want to give the dog a tone before the actual stem comes, right? And it's very popular to do that, to give dogs a tone recall. So what would happen was I would hold this button down, and when that tone stops, then the stem on whatever level this is will start. So if you're doing recall with your dog and you're saying, hey, I don't want to give my dog a stem every time they are recalled, I want to let them know ahead of time, you can use this tone button. Tone means, hey, I'm calling you back to me. And if they don't come immediately, then holding that button triggers the stem. So it's pretty simple. So on the other buttons on this receiver, or I mean on this transmitter, so this controls what I call the volume, the up and down of the level. This button is momentary. The way we have it set up, this button is momentary, which means no matter how long you hold it down, flip this receiver over, you can watch this light, right? No matter how long you hold it down, it's just one time. See that light? It's like an old-fashioned shot collar, just one time. We call it a nick. So it's just one time. A technique you can use is tapping, right? If you want to give multiple stems. The red button, that is continuous. That works like a TENS unit. If you've ever had a TENS unit in physical therapy, it sends a continuous signal to the collar, which stimulates the muscle, and you'll actually see the dog's neck and skin kind of do this, right? But this will go for continuous, so it'll give a continuous signal for whatever this number is for 15 seconds before it turns off. So as long as you're holding this red button, watch this collar. I'm going to press the red button on, so it's still giving a signal, still giving a signal, still giving a signal, and then it goes away. So that's 15 seconds. Now, what is the significance for that? So if I have a dog that I'm working recall on, or trying to just aggravate a little bit to get them to do what I'm asking them to do, I can hold this button and turn up. So as long as I'm holding this button, remember the dog's getting a signal. And so I can go from nothing and slowly increase to see where the dog's working level is. The dog's going away from me. As long as I keep going away from me, I'm increasing this level. So the level doesn't go down until they either stop or turn around and come back to me. So the reason I like that is because sometimes, you're trying to mess with that level, and sometimes a level 4 is good, and sometimes a level 17 is good, and it's just can be confusing. And if you're in an environment where the level is too high for what the dog is expecting, or there's not enough arousal to warrant whatever level it's set on, you can just dial back down to 0 and you get it every time, right? If I'm checking a dog's working level, I'll start at 0 and I'll go up slowly. I'll watch the dog, and when the dog has any kind of sign, reaction, blink of the eye, turn of the head, a curiosity like perks up, then it goes away. And so that'll let me also easily determine the dog's working level. Now on the back here, there are a couple buttons, M and C. That's momentary and continuous. You can change the configuration of these buttons. Now right after training, I don't recommend you do that, but if you want to get into that, we'll show you how to change the configuration of these buttons. On the front of this collar, see if I can get it up there. On one side you will see M, on the other side you will see C. What that means is that this button is set for momentary and this button is set for continuous. Now this button in the middle, the on-off button, the L, it's also a light. So if you are outside with a dog at night, you can tap it once and it flashes. You can tap it again and it's steady on. It's a pretty bright light. We use it out here at our place a lot. Tap it again, it goes off. This is your charging port, right? And so at night you will plug this into charge. There's a charging port on the collar receiver, and there's a charging port on the transmitter. This is the charger that comes with it. It has 2 ports, so you can charge them both at the same time. Make sure when you have this outside that this is shut. These are waterproof, but if water's going to get in, it's going to be right there. Right? Has a lanyard. You can hook onto this little thing right here. Just put it around your neck. So that is the remote. Now, if there's anything that I want to tell you about that's going to possibly cause you a problem, the thing we see the most. So if you look right at the top there, you will see a 1 dog flashing, a 1D. You guys see that? All right. Now, if I depress this button, that 1D will stop. What that does, it locks this in. Nothing will happen. So when we get calls about these not working, that's usually the case. Someone has pressed this or had it in their pocket and it got depressed and it took that 1D off flashing. And so if you just hold it down again, you just want that 1D flashing, and that will allow you to change your levels. Now in the accessory bag, here's a couple things. I'm not going to take it all out. There's a little tester you can put on here to make sure that it's working. There's a little tool to change out the points. If you're going to have a dog that has long hair, you want longer points. We also have wings. We'll show you those. This little tool kit comes with it. Really quickly, I want to show you how to change out these contact points. This is a little tool I was talking about. It's nothing really complicated. It's just a little tool. And so what you're going to do is use this tool. Turn these little contact points, and they just unscrew. And then you're going to screw the longer ones on. And you do this for, long-haired dogs. We have another product that are called wings, comfort wings, if these aren't long enough. And so there you've just changed out the contact points.